Hey, do you ever have a situation where something happens for a reason, or at least it seems like it happens for a reason? Tech, which is a really nice company that makes a lot of different rotary tools and rotary accessories, sent this over to me to prototype and check it all out. Meantime, I guess we'll show you this part, the bug assault gun, yeah, it broke. So in the midst of repair, I decided I needed a tiny rotary tool to make the repair with. So I'm going to show you what broke in the gun, and I'll show you the tool a little bit. Now this is not on the market yet. It's a prototype that I sent over to check out. So I did some running and testing with it anyways, and so let's get into this. Yeah, so like I was saying, my bug assault gun, it broke, and what it was doing was when you cocked it back this way, it didn't lock. It would just come right back at you. It wouldn't stop, and the reason was this broke off right here. But I'll show you a close-up of this. It's kind of shiny right now because I've got epoxy still in there, but I decided to drill into the plastic, and I took staples, took them apart and flattened them out and used them as pins, and drove pins up into the plastic in order to make that work. But to drill it, you need something really small and something that would work with you instead of a great big, drill. And again, I thought, well, Tech just sent this over to us, so why not use this to drill the plastic out to set the pins in there. I figured 2 metal pins plus the epoxy hopefully would give it enough strength. I'm hoping this will work, because that's, yeah, we haven't tested this theory out yet, but it is. I'll give you a close-up of this, and you can see maybe if you have one of these, or if you've ever had one around, or you find one at a yard sale that's broke. I can see why it would break. It's a pretty sad piece of engineering, which is typical of everything these days. It's like, it's like it was made to break or wear out or something. Yeah. So let's get in here real close, and I'll just show you the actual break. So obviously this is the trigger mechanism here. There's actually a slide up in here that unlocks it when you cock it back, but right here is the brake. And what actually broke was this from here right on through, right straight down here on this side of that. And you can actually see the pin epoxied up through from the back side. And I'll just sort of show you that too, that, there's where I actually drilled in. And I drilled through here, and I also drilled through there. And what that did was allowed me to put a steel pin right up through, and then I poured epoxy in each of these chambers that's supposed to stick to metal. We'll find out. And that will help to reinforce and, hopefully hold this in place. But I'm going to do it on both sides. I'm just showing you the one side, but we're going to do it on both sides, put the epoxy in, let it set up, and hopefully the metal will reinforce the stop, because this actually has a lock right here. It has the lock back here on the slide, and of course the trigger at that point will release the stop at that point, and then the plunger fires forward through and then blasts the salt out to hopefully destroy or kill the fly. Yeah, simple enough, but like I said, really poor engineering. There was very little contact there. Well, I'm all set to cut the other piece off that I put the pin through, but I have to wait till the epoxy sets up. So I've got the gun sitting on I actually put it on the a bed on a 3D printer, and put the bed on to 60 degrees Celsius to help heat the epoxy to make it, trigger and cure and get really hard and good before we put this thing back together, and hopefully it tests and it works back to what it was doing. But let's talk about this, the Tech. They sent this over in just loose in a box because it's a prototype, so they didn't have any, they really didn't have well, nothing was done. But it's a really nice tool. So I want to talk a little bit about it, but I also need some comments from you guys about this one, maybe help me out a little bit. This is a USB-C here and they give you a USB-C to USB-C for charging. And I said, it would be kind of nice to either have an adapter or have a USB-C to USB-A, the good old-fashioned USB that I think we all pretty much have at the house. The USB-C, I had to run around the house and look for a charger that had the USB-C on it in order to charge this up. And again, they don't include a charger, and in fact, the last unit we got from Tech, I'm pretty sure there was no charger with it for the same thing, because it was USB, which shouldn't be that hard, but I just think it's a bit of an inconvenience, whatever. It's got some really cool features. When you turn it on, it has a really big digital readout right here, and the buttons, of course, can go up and down to, I think it's five speeds. Yeah, 3,500 RPM, 35,000 RPM, and there's that. Also tells you how much charge it has. 90% charge right now, so that's cool too, because at least you can see how much battery life you've got left in it. I'll shut it off for a second. Has a nice stop switch right here where it locks out, so you can easily change the collet or change the tool bit, whatever it is you're using on it. It's fairly heavy, which doesn't surprise me. I guess this is one thing that I've always found odd, is they like to put this back so you can, I don't know, hang it on a nail or something. I've never really cared too much about that, but I always thought maybe it would be cool if you had like a stand or something, but it's not. So it's like, you know, why bother? I don't know. They put those in there. Charge-wise, I don't know what the full-time charge. There was no paperwork with it. Just simply a note came in from Dempstech and said, oh, by the way, we shipped your prototype to test out. So there's none on the market. These things aren't for sale yet. So there's no link in the description below. But I'll tell you what, in the future, when and if Dempstech releases this, I will put a link in the description below whenever that is. That might be weeks or months from now, I don't know, because this is, like I say, is a brand new, it's so new that it doesn't exist kind of tool just yet from Dempstech with their rotary tool line. They had a nice rotary last year, so this kind of, you know, was like, but this is the, I guess we'll call it the new improved model. And 35,000. Again, comment below if you think that's enough, too high, too low. I'd love to hear a little bit more about it, and I'll give Dempstech some feedback on rotary tools if you you know, make any comments or suggestions over this tool. It's you know, they are so handy at times around workshops when you get into really small, fine detail work. That's when the rotary tool really shines. It just does. It's like, this is when you need it. So Dempstech, in fact, I'll tell you what, and I've showed this, I don't know how many times, but there's Dempstech's kit, and this comes right out of Amazon, and I'll give you a link in the description below where you can find this kit. It's a ridiculously low price, but it comes with the collets, the extra wrenches, and all the, you know, lots of pieces, everything you need for dealing with dealing with that kind of work. And the gun, on the other hand, if you happen to have the same problem with your gun, hopefully you'll understand and see what, you know, you have to take it apart, and there's lots of springs that are going to fly out of there. So run around your, you know, do it somewhere where you can find these little springs that fly out of this gun. It's just like a spring, you know, it's the old Swiss watch, I think we used to say, it just boom, you know, the pieces just come flying out of there. The good news is all the screws so far have been exactly the same screw. So there's no long screw, short screw position, anything like that. So that's good. I do have some assembly work, obviously, to put this thing back together, but it's not that bad, I don't think, really. It's just not. But I'm just hoping that when comes season for hunting flies, you know, we'll be all set, because let's face it, we all pay, what, $50 for these things, and to have it break that easily with the plastic that they used, and I tried to get identify the plastic, I could not. I also considered, yes, 3D printing something that would help me to do a repair, and it just seemed like the easiest way to do it was, like I say, was to try to epoxy in some metal pins back in, glue the whole thing back together, the assembly, and hopefully that would give it enough strength that the gun can be useful for years, I guess. But isn't that something? Just so happened to show up and just so happened to have a little job for a rotary tool. So, strange things around here at times, I'll tell you. Now, a couple of quick recommendations too. I used staples for a metal pin, but looking into it now, the best thing probably would have been a brad nail. You know, break a couple of brad nails out of a set and just use a single brad nail, number 8, you know, 18 gauge, and 2 holes up inside with some epoxy. That would even be stronger than them silly staples. Probably regretting that now, that what I did. I probably should have used the brad nails. But, I was looking for something really, you know, small in like a 1mm pin kind of thing, metal, that would be, you know, this long, that would go up through the plastic shaft of that thing in order to epoxy it in so that we could, you know, give that thing some strength. I'm done. Hey, oh, and comment about the new Dempstech tool. Even if you just think of something about a rotary tool that you would like to see for a future or something, let me know and I can pass that on to DepStack. They'd love to hear about it. Meantime, I'm going to get out of here, and thank you very much for watching Coffee and Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the notice bell. We get some tools given away. Oh, I gotta get out of here. Over and out.